Good evening to people who have joined and people who will watch this later. Welcome to the Blue Skies Leadership Dialogues for edition of this month. Blue Skies is a premier monthly leadership dialogue series. This platform brings together senior leaders from various industries for an enriching 30-45 minutes virtual conversation. For us, each session focuses on exploring key factors, vectors, levers, and applications of leadership. And this month, we are excited to introduce you to Madhvi from Capgemini. She is the Vice President of Capgemini. And she is delving on the topic called Trustworthy Leadership, Balancing Authenticity and Accountability. Welcome, Madhvi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Looking forward for this interesting conversation.
Same here, Madhvi. Madhvi is the Vice President at Capgemini, and she has over 18 years of experience in delivering digital transformation and driving global account mining. Currently, she is managing the P&L for UK and Ireland customers across various sectors, including energy, resources, communication, media, and information services. She is actively involved in diversity and inclusion initiatives. She promotes gender equality, mentorship, and empowerment within the industry. On a personal note, Madhvi enjoys writing, caring for the environment, and practicing yoga and meditation, reflecting her commitment to a balanced and mindful lifestyle. Madhvi, once again, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for those kind words, I should say.
Thank you. Madhvi, this is a very nice dichotomy. It's about trustworthy leadership, balancing authenticity and accountability. What do you believe are the fundamental principles of trustworthy leadership, and how have you implemented these principles as a leader?
I think, Prakash, that's a very interesting question, and thanks for putting that up as an opening question in the conversation. Fundamentally, I believe that trustworthy leaders are very, very important. The fundamental principle of trustworthy leaders includes integrity, transparency, empathy, and consistency. As a leader, I have implemented these principles by consistently demonstrating honesty and fairness to all my decisions and the actions that I make. I ensure transparent communication with my team, keeping them informed about company goals, challenges, and changes that are happening. By fostering an open door policy, I encourage feedback and actively listening to my team's concern, which helps me to build a culture of mutual respect and trust. Additionally, I lead by example, maintaining high ethical standards and showing empathy to my interactions that I make, which has been pivotal in learning and ensuring that trust within the team and stakeholders are being maintained.
Great. Now, when we speak about authenticity and accountability in the same breath, I'm curious, how do you balance being authentic while maintaining accountability, especially in high-stakes situations where difficult decisions have to be made?
Very probing question, I should say that. Balancing authenticity with accountability involves being true to one's value, while also taking responsibility for the outcomes of the decisions that you have made. In high-stakes situation, I ensure that my decisions align with my core value and the best interest of the organization. I communicate openly about the reasons behind difficult decisions and take ownership of the outcomes, whether positive or negative. This approach not only reinforces my authenticity, but also demonstrates commitment to accountability. By being transparent and fair, I foster trust and respect, even when being making a difficult decisions at times. See, every leader in their decision making, some or the other time, they have to make difficult decision making. It's also about taking the responsibility and then at the same time being accountable and committed towards the outcome that comes in. And that's where the leadership with trust comes into perspective. So that's where I personally feel that there has to be a balance, being authentic and at the same time being accountable.
Hmm. Interesting take, the way you say how you foster things within your team, and how you take ownership as a leader, and how you balance authenticity and accountability. Now, what's ilking in my mind is, what kind of strategies do you feel that you have found most effective in fostering a culture of trust within the organizations that you have worked in? And how do you ensure that these strategies is consistently applied across different teams? Because, how do you bring that standardization for people to say, okay, this is what is accountability, this is what is authenticity, this is how we evidence it? What makes it possible?
See, that's a very again, I would say a deep layered thought process. To foster a culture of trust, I focus on clear communication as well as recognition of achievements and empowerment of my team. These three are the pivotal pillars for harvesting a culture of trust within an organization. I implement regular check ins and transparent update to keep everyone aligned in my team and be informed about it. Um, there are different kinds of organization, matrice organization, some are very flat organization, and I've got the privilege to work in both kind of environment. But what I have harvested and thought through very clearly, that these three pillars have always played an important role. You need to uh, really recognize the talent that are there and at the same time be honest uh, uh, to the point where what achievement they have made, and at the same time you need to empower them. I implement regular, as I said, a check-in of transparent updates, keeping everybody aligned and informed, at the same time recognizing and celebrating individual team accomplishment
Mm,
reinforces a positivity of trust.
mm,
I also empower my team members by delegating responsibility and encouraging autonomy, which boosts confidence and trust in the leaders. See,
mm.
you need to trust your leaders, right? At the end, they are the next line in command. They need to be empowered and made accountable. Additionally, I lead by example, ensuring that my action reflect the organizational values and expectations. So it's very, very important I establish a clear guidelines and value that are communicated and reinforced through training and regular meetings. So it's very important that line of communication and proper accountability within the team are being maintained. So those are some of the strategies that has worked out for me. I personally believe for the trust to be there within the team, you need to empower your people and make them accountable.
This is rather interesting. The way you're telling, what I'm sensing is it's not just in the thought process or how you're thinking about it. There is also a lot of experience and experimentation that has gone in for you to share what you're sharing now. I also, believe that there is a lot of past incidents where things have worked out for you. It has given you success in terms of establishing trust, empowering the leaders, and helping them take that accountability. I'm intrigued to ask you this. Has there been an instance where you faced challenge in maintaining trust and accountability? And how have you upheld your own leadership values and aligning to the organization?
That's very, see, every leader in their time span and the career, they would have always had this challenging, nobody's ride is
Yeah.
honky dory, right? So it's a reflection I should go back and think through. And one significant challenge that I had faced during one of my major organizations restructuring that happened. And as part of that, so this was a PE invested firm, and we were doing, and they had come up and they were asking for a overall outsourcing deal where we were playing the service integrator. And there was a big, huge amount of downsizing that was happening in that organization, which we were the outsourcing partners. So, as part of that, we had to also take up a thought process as to how we will have a trust and maintain that trust accountability during this period was very, very crucial. So I had to address it from because look, as and this was a UK based organization that I'm talking about. As part of that, some of named resources were also coming as part of to pay resources. So it's very important to take care of those people because they were part of some other organization as part of reorg. Now we have to bring them into our own organization, take care of them. So I had to address it by being transparent as much as possible about the reason of the change, the steps that were involved. I held multiple town halls, meetings to explain the situation, answer the questions, and provide support to the affected employees. It's very, very critical. By being honest and compassionate, and by being and also by providing assistance to such as job replacement services that could be there for them, some packages that were there as part of the HR policies, how it could be taken up. I was able to maintain trust and uphold my leadership value. This approach at least minimized the uncertainty that was there, because some people had to be brought in, and that uncertainty should not make them feel that they are vulnerable today in a situation where they were vulnerable. If at that same time they leave the organization, then there is a overall whatever they have that knowledge space or acquired the knowledge, that would be lost, and
Yeah.
it would be a difficult situation for the organization, for us. So overall it was a very, very tricky situation. The approach that I thought was, as much as possible, we have to minimize the impact, the uncertainty that was there within the minds of the people, and at the same time demonstrate a commitment to treat everyone with respect, dignity, because at the same time they are coming from a different organizational culture and they are ready to come and be part of this new culture. So that line of sight of trust has to be maintained. Regular communication has to be maintained, because if we don't do that, the uncertainty goes on multiple folds, right? That's where it is. I mean, this was one such difficult situation that I had been into, and I felt that an important element is for any leader is to also be empathetic.
Mm.
Empathy is very, very critical, and that is another aspect of making you as a trustworthy leader. Once when you are being viewed as a person or as a leader who sticks by the views that are there and will help the people to come out in even difficult situations, that's when you really make the difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think empathy is kind of, it breeds trust. Empathy kind
Absolutely.
of propels authenticity. Empathy empowers accountability for people. Yeah, I mean, great.
And
What
you know what,
advance?
Prakash, sorry, I just
Please
wanted
go
to add on. You really need to be compassionate in a situation like this, right? Because
ahead.
people are going through difficult situations where they are today. And that uncertainty that builds in into the situation I just narrated, it was so difficult. There were HR conversations that were going on amidst a lot of contractual ongoing thought process that were there, and with that you have to really maintain the overall views, because you really don't know in an open town hall what difficult questions and conversations can come up, right? And you really need to maintain that thought process to the extent of what can be narrated, what needs to be taken up to the HR part of the policy guidelines and the tenure. But at the same time, people who are coming and joining you, they need to have trust and faith in you. That's why it is important that compassion and empathy needs to go hand in hand.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So when you see, young managers, young leaders joining the organizations, what advice would you give to them in developing their authenticity and accountability as leaders?
Look, I will not say as an advice, but it is more about reflections that I can bring in, because every leaders have their own style and every leadership styles are different. To me, I personally believe to develop authenticity and accountability, emerging leaders should focus on self-awareness, and consistently they need to have accountability towards the behavior that they present to all the team members that are there. I advise them to regularly reflect on their values. And what it in return gives is that it ensures their actions that are aligned with these principles that they really truly latch to, right? It's
Mhm.
important to communicate openly and honestly, and to be willing to admit the mistakes that is being made. See,
Mm.
nobody is a saint or a god, right? We are all at the end human beings.
Yeah.
And I remember sometime what my father always says, that if we don't mistake, then we are God, right? We
Yeah.
are humans. We will make mistakes. But if you have made mistake, reflect about what has gone wrong, and at the end you should always come out with it so that you balance out the things. It should not jeopardize anybody's
Yeah.
or anybody within your team, anything that you have done that gets harshly reflected on anyone. So it's very important you reflect on your values, ensure their actions are aligned with these principles that we are latching to. It's also important to communicate openly and honestly, and
Mhm.
to be, and look, I think it's very important at, and I keep on repeating the fact that you need to be honest in all communication that you need. I mean, sometimes we feel that there is a thin line between an honest conversation and at the same time being a balanced conversation. So
Yeah.
it's very important to have that and be willing to admit the mistakes, as I said, and then learn from them. Because once when you do a wrong thing is a mistake, but if you repeat it twice, it's not called mistake. It's beyond mistake then, right? So that's why you need to learn from them, build a strong relationship based on trust, and reflect it at the point of essential conversations that are going on. And at the same time, emerging leaders should also seek feedback to
Mm.
the open. As much as possible, you need to have or take the criticism constructively, because constructive criticism is something which is very, very paramount for you, and this will help the person to grow professionally. At,
Absolutely.
see, if you go down by the criticism, it will take you it will take you back to different tangible acts. You should take criticism constructively. With every thought process that comes in, you need to have personally taking it up. What is it that brings a growth in your professional growth perspective from those criticisms coming in? And at the same time, you need to be consistent, reliable, and empathetic. As I said, they can develop a leadership style that is both authentic and accountable. So those are some of my views. Probably I can't advise from the perspective, because I personally feel every leader's
Yeah.
styles are different. But these are my own reflections. I feel these are very, very important for any emerging leader to have that trust. And at the end, I would just say that and this is what see, elephant is the most powerful animal in a jungle, right?
Yeah.
When that elephant is brought in and chained up in a situation where he is deprived of the thought process of what he can do,
Yeah.
that's when he goes down, right? Because the elephant forgets that what is its capability that it can bring. And that's why when it is chained to just one single
Yeah.
thin rod, and there is a chain or a shackle that is there around his leg, in a zoo when you will see it, or a circus, that same elephant has forgotten
Yeah.
what it can achieve, right? That is what is very important for every one of us. Don't forget your inert value, and that is when you will always come back with authenticity and accountability.
Brilliant. 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 I think, this is amazing. By saying that, you bringing yourself in the true form is authenticity. And when you take the ownership, or when you take the accountability of, the decisions that you're making, then you build that kind of absolute trust on which you can actually walk anywhere. Brilliant.
And Prakash, I sometimes think every organization, the leaders have a pyramid of people who are there. You will always have at the top of the pyramid is a very small uh, number of people, right? And then the pyramid goes beyond, and at the bottom, the maximum layer is there. I personally also believe that you can run as fast as the slowest member of your team.
Yeah.
So you need to take care of that part of the person who is the slowest also, because your entire span of the team goes and performs as much as that slowest member performs. And that slowest member should also have trust on the leader under whom he or she is working. Until and unless that is not being maintained, the overall end game that you want to achieve will never be in the given timeline that you want to achieve. So, lot of thought process that goes when you work with a team. You have to harpen their strength and then amalgamate it and make it also harvest it back to the entire engine that you are working around.
True. True. While you are saying that, every leader is different, uh, I was thinking, this as for a second I was snapped out. I was thinking that was the genesis of, starting this series of Blue Skies Leadership, because I always believed that every leader in their own self is so successful. So there is no one template for being a leader. So and that is, I thought, why not bring in leaders month on month to check with them, what's making them successful, what's their idea of leadership, and that's why this series. So thank you for making this discussion today so enriching, and thanks for your presence. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, it was my pleasure, Prakash. When I had an time to interact with you, it was very probing, and that's why I asked you that why do you felt that I should be part of your series? And I really liked the point that you mentioned that look, we are called blue skies. The horizon is very, very wide, and that's when I was thinking a very important poem that I had once read when I was young. It was written by William Wordsworth, and it never goes away from my thought process.
Mhm.
It was a thought process which says that knowledge is like a horizon.
Mm.
When you go near to the horizon goes away. And
Yeah.
that's how knowledge is, right? You feel that you are near to the end of learning something, and then it goes away beyond again, and you run behind that. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel leadership is something where you every day excavate new things. Every
Absolutely.
time when you interact, every day makes you feel new challenges comes in, you reflect, you learn, and that gives you a power to bounce back more powerfully for the new challenges that come in. And team plays a very critical role. And that's why I liked your topic, trustworthiness, how it brings accountability at the same time being authentic. So thank you for bringing this interesting topic, which is very near to my heart. It just popped in. You brought that topic, and I felt it is interesting to be part of this series. So I'm really honored to be part of your series. Really loved being part of it.
Thank you so much, Madhvi. I think the way you explained the Blue Horizons, you should do a trailer or a teaser video for us.
It will be my honor. Definitely, we can think about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madhvi. And thanks for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.